Bannerlord can be a brutally hard game. Often you're outnumbered and massive armies march against you. Well, in this new series, we're going to work together, friends. What I want you to do is send me your difficult situations that you're either currently encountering in Bannerlord in your campaign, or something that you've dealt with in the past where you're just unable to solve it. I will do my very best to handle these difficult situations. I will share the results on YouTube, provided they have some kind of educational value for people. We will take on these difficult challenges, do some battlefield analysis, and hopefully help you turn around a very, very difficult battle. So join me on this adventure. Please send me your difficult situations. Have a little patience. I don't know how many there are going to be, but I'm willing to take these challenges on for you fellas as we handle your disasters of war. All right, friends, welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related, and we are having a lot of fun with this series, Disasters of War. This is a cooperative. You guys are working together with me. Effectively, you guys are sending in your most difficult battles, your most difficult situations, campaign problems, etc. And I'm going to do the best I can to help rectify the situation. Sometimes it'll be a demonstration. Other times, fellows are simply asking me to save them in a situation where they find a battle untenable, unwinnable. This situation is not the most dire situation. And what I mean by that is this fellow said, you can simply wait for the garrison here before you attack this large Western Empire force. There's a force of 1,800 Western Empire armies right outside Epicrotia here, this fella's city. And Eric wrote in and said, hey, try to win this battle. I'm not sure it's possible here. It's a very difficult situation. We will do more analysis in the actual playthrough of this, but I just want to do a baseline of this using the sergeants in charge. Of course, this whole series, we will use the hardest player damage, and let's go ahead and jump right into battle here. Now, this rates to be a very long battle, so more than likely I'm going to give you the highlights instead of just 20 minutes of watching the AI slog through a brutal battle here. It also rates to be a bridge battle. Indeed, Epicrotia, most of the time that you fight either at or Epicrotia or around Epicrotia, you get this amazing battlefield that has a series of different bridges. Now, as a tactician, these are outstanding battlefields. However, the AI does not rate to do particularly well here. So we will assign the sergeants in charge, right? Take over command, and God knows what they're going to do here. The enemy's across the river there. Theoretically, the AI should wait for the enemy, but that's not what they're going to do here. A little RTS mod overhead view of what kind of disaster is going to, and this is your disaster of war here, right? You put the sergeants in charge, and this dipshit thinks he can charge. Well, we've cut out a lot of this mess for you. We're going to give you the ESPN sports highlight of this ugly battle here. This is a situation where we're outnumbered 3-1, and the enemy has an enormous amount of heavy cavalry. Nevertheless, our sergeant thought it was a good idea to charge. You have absolutely no chance in a situation like that. Eventually, it brought up archers in sort of a hapless, hazardous manner. The troops basically had no chance from the get-go, and this was indeed a disasters of war. Now, the sergeants don't do a particularly job anyways, but they got routed pretty thoroughly here. Almost 700 troops left on the battle here for the enemy, actually 800 as they towed us off to prison here. All right, we've reloaded this. Now let's go ahead and take a little closer look at the situation here. And it's important to note that this guy said that it was not a do or die situation, right? He's not trapped. Sometimes fellas send in situations where they can't move, right? They're trapped. This guy's near a garrison. There's another army nearby. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and take this on as if it's do or die. Now, his army's very strong and very mixed. This is clearly a pupil of the channel. This guy is rock and rolling here with a really powerful army. It's not quite as many archers as I would like to see, especially for a looming bridge battle. But I still think we can make this work if we concentrate firepower, run some defensive angles, and take advantage of all the different advantages we can muster in this situation. Now again, there's a large force of sturgeons there. We've got the garrison, but we're going to try this with just our 600. Now Eric here has a great character spec. He's virtually spec'd like we would spec a Baron York or any of the other characters for the channel. It looks like he's got custom weapons running here. He's got a head smasher, two-handed mace. We will run with the weapon spec that he has set up, but I always like to look at banners because I think they're really underestimated for battle or underused for battle. Decreased ranged taken. With this enemy force that we're fighting, it looked like hundreds and hundreds of cavalry. His army is actually less than 30% archers. Now the enemy's massively heavy cavalry, right? Almost 1,000 heavy cavalry. It looks like he might be using the strength and AI mod as well, right? There were little details, very little details in this email. So we're doing the best we can to deduce the situation. Now that's what I want. I want increased melee against mounted troops. Let's see if he has any other banners like that. You want as many units as you can to have that perk. Now Savannah will be able to use, right? Decreased taken ranged attack damage. She will be defensive. Look at this right here. I'm going to steal this guy's banner. 30% extra damage to mounted troops. Half the enemy force, more than half, is mounted. We're going to go ahead and set up Eric here with that banner. Now I always recommend 10 to 15 high-end banners in your group, in your character inventory. That way you can change it depending on the situation. 358 elite cataphract, a bunch of Vanguard Ferris. Now they got Bucellarii. This is a powerful army we're facing, and indeed I would almost be certain that this is the strength and AI mod at work. This is not a normal situation here. You know, we're outnumbered 3-1. It's going to be a challenge no matter what. I would prefer 50% archers here. A lot of guys run 30%, 20% archers. I think 50% is fine for most situations, but especially a bridge battle. Your infantry can't all fight on the bridge, but your archers can sure shoot at the bridge. Now, I'm not sure this is quite enough light for you fellas. I want there to be enough light so you can actually see what's going on here. We'll just back out of this. I'll just stall for a little bit here. These are instructional, right? This is not do or die. He said right in his email, it's not do or die here. So we'll just let a little bit of daylight pass. Now we'll re-enter the battle. Now we're going to have to take advantage of some critical things here. Here are some advantages we do have. We have better overall troops. And we're going to be able to make the enemy come to us. Why? Because when the enemy hugely outnumbers you, actually doesn't matter whether or not you attacked or they attacked. They will come to you. They're like, oh, we outnumber them 3-1. Let's hurry up and just get this battle over with. We're gonna crush the enemy. They're referring to us, right? They think they're gonna crush us, and they're going to come at us. Let's take advantage of that, right? We will have a defensive side and an offensive side. Since the enemy seems to be coming from our left towards our right, we're going to have a defensive line of cavalry in a shield wall. This is perfect. With Savannah, it's probably his wife, this great captain with the huge perk list. She can hold that 2nd division in a shield wall and help absorb thousands of arrows from the enemy. Meanwhile, we're going to have 2 different infantry divisions. We want a shield division, the 1st division in a square, and the 6th being an attack division. The 7th can just be horse archers. Now, I want to get this gal in the 1st division. Decreased taken melee attack damage, right? They're going to get attacked by hundreds of cavalrymen. Savannah at the left, Eric. I think we'll put Eric in charge of the 8th. Let's see how we do this. Decreased taken melee attack damage. So in this case, let's run 2 defensive divisions. The 1st and the 2nd will be defensive divisions. Whoops. 8th division, Eric. Or no, I'm sorry. The 1st, 2nd, and 3rd will all be defensive divisions. I know that seems like a lot. That means almost 100 of our troops here are going to be on defense. That'll make it about 90. But look at that. Decreased taken melee attack damage. Now, this is just initially, right? We're going to have our archers doing a lot of the killing. The 6th Corps, those are shock troops and skirmishers, I hope. 1st Corps are shields. And it looks pretty good, right? There's a good amount of shock troops in that 6th division. You really want to zoom in and make sure your units look right, and this looks right? There's almost all shields, and it's Sturgeon, veteran infantry in that 1st division, and that 6th division is going to be shock troops, guys with javelins. They can be on offense. The biggest thing we want to do also is jam up the bridge. We don't want the enemy pouring through to our side. It's okay if some of their troops are on our side, but you don't want hundreds of cavalry because then it's over, right? They charge your archers and the battle's totally over. We've got to protect our archers, especially on this right side. So I'll show you what this looks like. We'll try to do a little RTS overhead here. And I'm going to set this up really quickly. I can explain as much as I can here. Of course, we're going to be holding fire. But we're going to have 2 different cav divisions, or at least 2 different defensive divisions on the bridge, right? The 1st and 3rd division on the bridge. The 1st is infantry, the 3rd is cavalry, and I basically just want those units kind of plugging up the bridge a little bit so that the enemy doesn't get 900 cavalry across. Over here, we've got the 2nd division blocking arrows for the 4th division of archers, right? That's just going to be a defensive line, and like I said, we can give you a little bit of view here. We're outnumbered almost 3 to 1. We're not using the battle size mod. I find that the battle size mod in a bridge battle is an advantage, so we're making this as hard as we can. Right, we're outnumbered 260 to whatever, 730. It's a bad situation. And again, we can just do that 2nd division. Let me just show you this overhead, fellas, so you can see what's going on here. 2nd division on that left side is going to absorb a lot of arrows. Now, initially, it's mostly a cavalry charge, but the enemy does have archers, right? I think they had like 350 archers or something like that. Those guys are going to get shot to pieces, but if we can take less than 10% of our army and have them absorb arrows, that's a win, right? If we can cancel out 1/3 or 1/4 of the enemy's archers, mostly, and then only use 10% of our troops, that's a win, right? It's like having a football game where they have to put 2 attackers or 2 defenders on your 1 player. Somebody else is open. All right, so the ranged weapons are going to start flying. Savannah there, hopefully she doesn't get killed. If it doesn't look too bad, we'll leave that 4th division over there, that archer division, right? They can pound the enemy from the other flank on the far side there. The 5th Corps is going to work. Back here we have these skirmishers. You want them close, right? That way they can chuck javelins in here just like this main character. We're going to do some work with Eric's guy today. And I've said it before, right? If we have companions killed of yours in battle, we will redo the battle. We're not going to kill your companions and then send you the save file. Although it sounds like in this situation, he didn't need the save file, right? He can simply wait for other reinforcements to arrive. Now, I don't like what's happening with these archers here, so we're just going to move them to our safe side. Now, there's no archers, enemy archers at all, 0 on our right flank. In other words, on the enemy left flank, they have no archer support. That means our archers can shoot virtually unattacked by enemy archers. Now we're going to do a lot of cleaning here of the escapees, the fugitives in our backfield here as Western Empire forces sneak through our trap, but they're also sneaking through into just a hail of darts, a line of heavy cavalry, shock troops trying to kill them, and of course Eric is going to be wielding his fast polearm here. This guy, it's almost a replicate of like Zuvan and some of the other characters we've had in our campaign. Now, our 2nd division is being attacked, so I'm trying to get over there. That's why I'm trying to spur my horse. I don't want this 2nd division getting pulverized by enemy cavalry, so we're going to support it a little bit. They're here to absorb arrows, and if they're busy trying to hold off cavalry attacking them, they're going to have a problem with that. So let's back them up a little bit here. I can still hear Savannah yelling orders back there, and that should give them a little bit more safety to sort of fight off the cavalry attacking them and absorb all those arrows coming in there. Meanwhile, again, our archers, look at these guys. They're having a field day. None of them are being attacked. None of them are being shot at. That's already a big win for us in this battle, right? We've essentially neutralized most of the enemy archers, and our archers are working. Here comes javelins. You could just see the hail of javelins flying through the air. I didn't see what kind of units they would have that would have javelins, but it's probably Sturgeon Brigand type troops and maybe Aserai Vanguard Ferris. It's a very powerful enemy force. They have everything. They have Banner Knights. We know they have Bucellarii. They had like 100 horse archers, tier 5 horse archers. The archers get sent to charge here, but you're going to cycle charge with them because you don't want them permanently charging. You have them charge, that way guys with no arrows left move up. They will do a little bit of damage, and then I like to move those guys back because there are some of those guys still shooting. Right? Your Fiend champs are going to shoot until sunset here, right? They have so much ammo. Now, the other thing that's happening here is because we have the bridge jammed up, the enemy's trickling through. They're coming through 5 at a time, 10 at a time, and they're met with nasty troops. A battle like this, of course, is all about simply obtaining the right kill ratio. We have to get about a 4-to-1 kill ratio to win this battle. 2.5 to 1, we still lose, right? So when you look up at that upper right corner there, I'll glance at it from time to time. You need to see 4 or 5 green kills, right? Green green for every red one. And right now it's a little bit tenuous. Unlike our campaign or other battles, we will look at the menu occasionally in these battles and kind of give you a glance. Now these archers are working. There's a lot of guys standing there though, right? There's a lot of sergeant crossbow that are out of ammo. There's a lot of different archers that are out of ammo. And we are going to have to use them in melee. In a long battle like this, I mean, this could easily take 15, 20 more minutes. We're going to have to conserve ammo, and you're going to continue to see me cycle charge. And the reason you're doing that, you're attacking and then pulling back to here is threefold. First, you want to make sure that your troops are attacking more of the enemy troops with your own troops. In other words, if you have 10 troops on the other side here, and this is actually a problem, all these dead horses, they're in the way, impeding the enemy from coming over the wall. If you have, 30 guys attacking 300 enemy troops, they're going to get mauled. But if you have it the other way around, where the enemy's coming through like this, and maybe they have 15 or 20 infantry at a time against your 50, they're going to get mauled, right? It's very much a numbers game. And because the enemy's coming to us, because they're willing to do that, we will simply take advantage of that, right? Especially these guys coming through 1 or 2 at a time. That's obviously an advantage for us. These guys are just dead meat. Now, these horses here are actually a problem. I don't know if you can see what's going on, but the enemy horses, there's so many horses that don't have a rider now on the battlefield that it's actually clogging up the bridge, and the enemy doesn't know what to do. The AI actually doesn't know what to do there. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's scores of horses that don't have a rider that are all trying to flee. We're actually just going to get in here and try to speed this up just a touch. Although I am being harassed here. You fucking assholes. Now, it's not a very good game design. There's nothing you can do about it. And the AI does not know what to do about hundreds of riderless horses in its way. It won't attack them. It'll just sort of stand there and have a seizure. So for a battle like this, ironically, it's beneficial for the enemy because in order to win this battle, we need the enemy to come to us. Right? So this is very temporary. I'm spending about 30 seconds here just sort of clearing out some of those cavalry and giving the enemy a little bit of an easier path to get to us. Incidentally, of course, in a bad situation, you can use that to your advantage. You could stack up a bunch of cavalry. You can even have horsemen dismount on the bridge and just clog the shit out of the bridge, and the AI largely won't know what to do about it. And the only solution is basically to kill or disperse the cavalry, right? It can take time no matter what. I don't think that would be a real strategy in actual real life. Just to leave all your horses and be like, here, deal with this. I think they would like jump into the water and shit like that, but it works pretty well in Bannerlord. All right, so our troops are up here charging and roaring now. Why? Because the enemy's got a decent little push, and we want all of these guys attacking. And the death spam should fizz green for the next 30 or 40 seconds. The other thing you'll notice again is me charging with archers and sending them back. That's not like I'm vacillating here like a weak bitch commander. That is very intentional. I want these guys coming up, doing some damage, and then getting back. Because I don't really want these archers rolling up here like they're fucking heroes attacking heavy cavalry, getting trucked by legionary. I want them supporting, right? You don't want them leading the charge. So you want to charge with them and then reset them, right? And this should be just something that you get used to doing. Again, you see a little quick charge, and then we will simply pull them back, keeping our troops on this side of the bridge. Here's the other reason. I don't think I listed all the reasons you want to keep your troops on this side of the bridge. This is a big one, right? Reinforcements instantly arrive and are going to help us. The other one is that you can get your archers shooting the enemy close. If the enemy archers are on the other side shooting at you, and your guys are over here on your side, and the enemy is much closer to your archers, that's a big advantage because your archers are either are more accurate, they're doing more damage, all kinds of advantages to that, right? Meanwhile, the enemy archers are shooting at 200 yards, and they're really not doing a lot of damage, right? A lot of their shots are frankly just missing. Anything that comes across right now is getting obliterated, right? We've got archers charging, cavalry charging, there's infantry in here going nuts. And the screen is fizzing green. This is one of those exchanges in a chess game that is just a dramatic loss, disaster for the enemy. It's like losing a pawn and taking their queen. The enemy just slumps in their seat because they know they're fucked. Of course, our job here just to sort of clean up the trash that sneaks through. I like to have one division of cavalry just sort of holding a line at the bridge, and then what I like to have the other one is just charging, right? And that way they're mostly attacking guys that are on our side. Some of them probably get across and they get killed, but you want them cleaning up all this trash that's attacking us over here, right? These occasional elite cataphract that are charging in here, if you've got 15 or 20 guys, you know, they will do a much better job than that of cleaning these guys up, right? You can actually see some of our troops chasing them around. If this was 100 troops over here, we'd be in trouble, but it's like 15, 20 enemy cavalry, and apart from the occasional guy that gets a couch lance, and most of them are being skewered. This mess at the bridge, right, this is going to be a mess for most of this battle because the enemy's just sending over non-stop troops. We've just got to avoid a huge breach. It's almost like a castle defense, right? We want some enemy to get across, but not hundreds. If they get hundreds of guys across the bridge here, we're lost. Now, our second division that was blocking arrows is gone, right? So you're going to see me grab other cavalry and basically put them in a line. It's very effective in the open field, and it's effective in a situation like this, too. It's the nature of it. Simply, archers will shoot at shield walls that are close, right? If there are troops nearby them, even if they're holding their shield, they will have a tendency to shoot those troops before units like archers, right? Archers are clearly a bigger threat, but the AI doesn't assess it like that. It says, oh, I've got units that are close to me. They're a horseman right there. Let's shoot at them. Even though they're holding up their shield, they're not going to be able to do much damage to them. The AI doesn't really factor that in. Maybe someday they'll fix that, but not at the moment, right? At the moment, that is a good strategy, and it works in the open field. We talk about all the time about having either a line of infantry in a shield wall, or even better, a line of cavalry, armored cavalry in a shield wall. All right, so let's go ahead and essentially set up a new division here of second cavalry. Even though we've probably lost Svanna, she's probably on her back somewhere, mumbling to herself because she got skewered. Speaking of getting skewered, my horse took that one for me. We just got a bunch of archers. We've got this mixed division of 4th, which you're going to see me sort of charge and then reset. And a bunch of new archers coming in here. This is definitely a good sign at this stage. Now, Eric, I've fucked up your main character here. I mean, he's gotten some kills here, but I'm not doing a particularly good job with him in this battle. 2, 3. We've got an odd horse archer division. We really lack archers. In fact, a lot of these infantrymen are peasants and recruits. That's a little bit alarming. Maybe we can't win this battle. He seemed to think the battle was impossible, or at least likely impossible. And, you know, we are going to film these even if it's close. So if this is a close battle, you're probably still watching it on YouTube, right? Whether we win it or lose it, it's worth watching. We're not going to be sharing just trash videos, even though I got smoked. Oh, shit, everybody's charging. Stop, hold your position, and let's reset some shit here. Sometimes, depending on what settings guys are using their RTS mod, the units will just take off, right? Just like a castle siege. I have it set with my base game so that they don't do that, right? That they all freeze as soon as they take over a new unit. But when I pick up a save game, it takes your settings, fellas. So I get kind of literally dropped behind your computer for a bit. You know, I can read all your emails. No, I digress. You know, we have a lot of the same settings here as Eric, and so this really probably feels to him like he's watching himself play. And maybe he would be doing a lot better with his units. Maybe he wouldn't have lost his main character already. Sometimes guys are like, oh, you're using less player damage. No, definitely not. We lose our main character on a regular basis. We get smoked for 80 damage by javelins. And this is the other way you can tell, right? Our character got dropped. It's just a function of the game, right? Now, this guy has good armor. He's got good athleticism. Not this guy. I meant Eric. You know, this character was sending an advanced play file, right? His game. I didn't see what year it was, but he must have 3 to 5 years at least of heavy battle to get to the stage he's at. He's got a good smith, etc. I was going to say the other thing with player damage is we show it before every battle, right? I usually just flash it. It's almost like a reflex for me because the guys are like, oh, you must be using a quarter player damage. No, trust me, I'm not. if we do, the very rare occasions, we'll tell you, fellas, right? We'll say, hey, we're doing a quarter player damage or whatever. It's very rare, though. All right, so again, more cycling here, right? Even though the enemy's right here, I'm still pulling our units back, right? I want our archers participating. I want the enemy coming across like dipshits, and they're outnumbered. We've got 30 guys here. As soon as the enemy gets a little bit into our ranks, charge, our units go berserk, and anything that made it sort of across and started to get loose in our backfield just gets swept up like garbage. Now, these archers are very low ammo. We're going to probably have to charge with them soon. And we are getting to a stage where it's extraordinarily challenging from an ammo level, right? We're very low ammo. We may not get many more archers, right? We are getting reinforcements still, but I don't know how many more archers are going to come out of the chute. And so every arrow volley is critical. We may even split them and put them on both sides. Now that is the enemy commander right here. Kill this guy. That'll certainly fuck up their morale and perks. Down he goes. The horsemen are still on the way here. It's a huge mess. Oh shit, speaking of horsemen, we just got reinforcements. 47. Okay, we got 106 archers in the 7th Division, and this might be it. This might be the last, our last bit of reinforcements. So let's go ahead and pull some units back here. Let's have a couple of squares set up for defense while we get these archers in place. The 4th Corps is basically infantry. There's archers in there, and it's showing that they have ammo, or at least a second ago it said they have ammo. Those guys are now infantry, right? We're out of a lot of units that used to have ammo. A battle like this, these guys become clear infantrymen. Some good-looking infantry here. This is part of Eric's good army. Not all tier 5, but man, he's got a lot of tier 5 units. You're not winning this battle if you have like 50% tier 2 units. Back some of these guys up again. Now, how many archers again, right? For an army situation like this, and I'm not going to do it, but if there is, actually, I think you can use the console. We could have added like, I don't know, 100 Palatine guards, right? A tier 5 archer, and dumped 100 of our infantrymen. I think we would definitely win this battle. Without it, it's going to be a challenge. With archers, I think, especially extra ammo archers, or even force bandits might have worked, right? They're not really fighting. They're not good in melee, but they're not fighting in melee in a situation like this, right? They're just shooting hundreds of rounds. I think they would do just fine. And of course, you clog the bridge. You can really only get like 50 to 100 guys on that bridge defending. Enemies still trickling through, right? And whether they're getting cut down by this guy or by all the units that are in place, the advantage is still ours. Just kind of holding the position on this side of the bridge. That 7th Corps is pounding, right? And we'll probably split them at some point, but that's where the damage is being done. We still have like 80 or 90 archers firing away. Now, not too many arrows coming our way, right? You guys probably noticed that. Part of that is a function of playing defensive early on, right? When you play defensive and you have those lines of shield walls, that prevents the archers from barreling forward. And I'll explain. If you put all your units way back on this side of the bridge, the AI will move up its archers pretty intelligently on both sides of the bridge and try to take advantage of the fact that they can get close to you when they start, before they start to shoot. In this situation, because we have our forces sort of menacing on the bridge, and then we had that cav division here on the left, the AI archers set up a little bit more cautiously. These are all archers here. They're trying to come across and shoot, charge. Right? That's an automatic charge situation. We've got a bunch of shock troops, a bunch of strong shield troops. In fact, let's just shove cavalry across the bridge. What that'll do is put a horse in every single archer's face. Our units are now desperately trying to get across the bridge. And if anything's in their way, they will attack it, right? All of these guys here, these archers, none of them get to shoot. Let's get archers on both sides here, an archer flank on both sides. I think this battle's ours, though. We've got superior troops at this stage. We've got a head of steam, and now we're going to be able to get archers on the enemy flanks. There's mostly tier 3 and 4 units left, too. The enemy does not have a whole bunch of elite troops left. And, of course, you can see the power bar. It's getting close. The archers are shooting, although a lot of them are standing there. You still want this situation where they're shooting because I saw a guy get smoked in the neck back there. The enemy isn't shooting us very much, right? So we're winning the ranged battle, and these archers wouldn't be of any use right now anyways. If I just charged them, they would just be staring at the ass of a legionnaire or line breaker saying, what do I attack? Here, at least some of them are shooting, right? It's not very many. I can't move. We're just going to speed this battle along. But we have a ton of good infantry here smashing their way through everything. On the sides, we have archer support, and I think our superiority in unit quality is going to win the day here. It's going to be close. Move these archers back. Again, you'll see me do this. How many times have I mentioned this, right? You're going to charge with archers once in a while. Reset them. Now, you don't want to reset them while they're being attacked. This situation here, they're just jammed up behind our infantry. Reset them. They'll pick up arrows on the way. They'll pick up, maybe a bag of arrows if an archer died there. And you should start to see them shoot, right? There's not a lot of them shooting, but even if 10 or 15 guys are shooting, it's worth them pulling back. Right, these guys, almost none of them are shooting. Sometimes giving them a little better line of sight will help. But I think this battle's over. I think we're plowing through with line breakers, Sturgeon, veteran axemen, and the death mantle says everything. Right? It's 80%, maybe 70%. That's going to be sufficient. Right? These guys here can now be sent to join the fray. They're almost entirely out of ammo, and now we just hope they don't have more reinforcements. We're all in. We're 174. We should be good. We actually outnumber the enemy. This battle is over. All right, Eric. He actually didn't leave his name. We're just going to say Eric. Thanks for submitting this difficult challenge. It certainly was a difficult challenge. I've gotten a lot of submissions, a lot of requests for this series, and that's great, fellas. Don't stop them. However, I'll warn you guys, I'm not going to do every single one of them. Sometimes they're fairly ordinary. A couple guys sent me battles that we've done on the channel 5 times. We're definitely seeking to avoid redundancy. I want it when you click an episode on Tactical Enlightenment, I want it to be something either you've never seen before or something that's pretty unusual. And this battle here is kind of right on the edge of too common for me to show. Nevertheless, we'll show this because it's unique in the fact that he doesn't have that many archers. He is badly outnumbered, and yet we were still able to seal the deal here and win this difficult battle. So keep those requests coming here. These guys are definitely bugged. They're just surging back and forth. There's got to be a unit that got shoved into the water and they can't get to him. So we might even have to just back out of this and auto-resolve. That shit doesn't matter. It's still a victory. We've got 100+ troops. The enemy is dissolved. And I think the AI killed about half, maybe 60% before they got destroyed. So a very big improvement over what the AI could do here. For the 1,001st first time, don't use the sergeants, right? Fight these battles yourself, fellas. You don't even have to do quite as much micromanagement as we did there, and you'll still experience better results than the sergeant. All right, can't see these units here under the bridge. It's not like I can shoot them or something, so we're just going to go ahead and back out of this battle. It's unfortunate. I would love for it to say victory here, but it really doesn't matter, right? Nobody gives a fuck whether this battle is auto-resolved for the last handful of troops or whether we played it down to the last man on the battlefield. Success is success, and in a difficult situation here, using some tactics, using some experience, understanding, how units work and how to best handle the AI's attack, we were able to beat a very powerful and large force. Lots of heavy cavalry. That was an interesting bridge battle. All right, we get an autosave. I'm just going to keep this file in case Eric does want it. If you want to be part of this series, right, all you got to do is submit your game save file to the email listed in the video description. Can't get to all of them, but I'll do my best. I'll at least try to acknowledge it and say, hey, I'm not going to do your episode. With that said, of course, you want to subscribe if you want to see more from this series. It's going to be interesting. Please hit that like button on the way out, fellas. I really appreciate that. And I will see you, friends, next time.